the Icarus 200 series. While more than 200,000 of these buses were built between 1968 and 2002, there was one bus that utilized the 200 series components that became the largest bus ever constructed by the Icarus factory. This is the story of PALT, the biggest, most impressive bus you've never heard of. Hi, this is Jeffrey. Now, not too long ago, I did a video on the bus-like mobile lounges at Washington's Dulles International Airport. Now, Dulles was the first airport to use such types of vehicles, and then after that, a number of other airports around the world adopted similar systems. Now, in the 1980s, Icarus looked at that and decided to design and build their own type of bus-like vehicle that would go between airport terminals and then from the airport to a hotel and then back again to the plane. Now, this system was called PALT. And what did PALT stand for? It stood for Passengers and Luggage Together. Now, Icarus built several different versions of these PALT buses, and one of them, which was the largest bus ever built by Icarus, was based on the 200 series Icarus buses. It's a very interesting story, so let's get started in learning about the PALT buses of Icarus. These may, without doubt, have been some of the most impressive bus-like vehicles of all time. PALT, which stood for Passengers and Luggage Together, was a joint project of Icarus, Autokut, and Chapel Autogyar in the late 1970s, the goal of which was to transport airport passengers from the plane to an airport terminal together with their luggage, and then, according to a later idea, directly to the hotel or other accommodation, and then back to the plane in the same way. The plan arose in connection with the then newly built Ferihegyi Airport Terminal 2, now called Budapest Ferenc Liszt International Airport. To realize this concept, Icarus produced several experimental buses. The project designers were inspired by the mobile lounge systems operating at Washington Dulles International, as well as other airports around the world at the time. The first proposal for this type of system appeared in 1974, called the Aeroporter system, and a new bus was designed for it, designated Type 266A. Numerous detailed scale models and renderings were produced through the conceptual design phase to demonstrate and sell the idea of PALT. The first PALT system bus was the Icarus 692.01, introduced in 1982. The impressive bus, at 14 meters long, holding up to 150 passengers, had two twin axles, front and rear, and was a two-driver vehicle with 30 cubic meters of space available for luggage in the lower part of the bus, above which was the passenger area, where the folding boarding bridge was located. Its structure, consisting of several sections rising in stages, actually functioned as a staircase whereby one could board the plane through the concave flange gate at the end of the bridge, connecting to the fuselage of the aircraft, or vice versa. The driver was in a small, low position under the folding bridge, while at the back, the second driver's cab was at the same level as the passenger saloon. The luggage was placed in the compartment below through doors at the back of the bus in specially designed U-shaped containers. This bus would have only operated at the airport between the plane and the terminal, and would have been powered by an inline 6-cylinder horizontal MAN D2356 HM6U diesel engine with 220 horsepower. Ferenc Orsi was responsible for the design of the bus. In 1983 through 1984, the next PALT system bus was introduced, which was designed for road traffic, and according to the plans, passengers could be transported all the way to their hotel. This was the Icarus 695, the first of which was the largest vehicle to come out of Icarus's bus factory. An 18-meter-long double-decker articulated bus with a height of almost 4 meters. 2 units were produced at the same time. The single-door larger bus version was given the model number 695.01, also known as K1, and the two-door but shorter bus was 695.02, also known as K2. The 695 type displayed its connection with the Icarus 200 bus family that was widespread at the time, and the 695.01 was based on its articulated type. It is also interesting that instead of 4 sets of the characteristic cube-shaped rear lights were placed on the back of the buses. The 695s also received a stepped boarding bridge like the 692. But since there was no profile flange here, handrails were placed on both sides of the bridge. Due to the bus's structure, there was a low driver's position like the 692. The bus was also tested in road traffic, but by then it was already clear that the PALT was not a feasible idea. The development cost of the buses, the deviation from airport standards, especially the different time-consuming placement of passengers and their luggage, and the cumbersome nature of the passenger and security checks all showed that the plan was basically doomed. It simply was not practical. Now, let's take a look at some of the basic specifications of the PALT 695.01 bus. Number 1, length was 18 meters. Number 2, width was 2.8 meters. Number 3, height with stair bridge lowered was 3.92 meters. Number 4, height of stair deployed was about 4.3 meters at top stair tread. Number 5, empty weight was 15 tons and a fully loaded weight would be 21 tons. Number 6, engine was the turbocharged Steyr 9FU-A generating 240 horsepower with a Voith 851 automatic transmission, which, like the Icarus 280, was located in front of the driven center axle. And finally, number 7, the vehicle was designed to meet the requirements of the Airbus A300, which was in widespread use at the time. In 1985, the Icarus 692.03 bus was introduced, which was no longer a PALT bus in the classical sense of the word, as it lacked luggage compartments, but rather it resembled an airport service vehicle. The luggage compartment was replaced by a passenger compartment, which made it possible to design this vehicle with a low floor, which was also bidirectional. Similar to the 692.01, the bus had 4 steerable axles, which gave it excellent maneuverability. The boarding bridge of this type was no longer part of the body. It was completely hidden under the front wall and front roof covering, which could be removed from the bus by lifting the casing. This was also a much improved system, as it could enable safe and comfortable service with all medium-sized aircraft. In addition to the built vehicles, several versions remained on the drawing board, including some that were better suited to general airport operation and could therefore find a market more easily. These were designated the 692.05, the 696.01, and the 697.01, the last of which would have had a VIP version for high-level delegations traveling to the airport. Overall, the PALT project basically remained a test and was eventually canceled in 1986. The buses were never put into series production, although they visited many professional exhibitions to try and obtain sales. In the end, they became mere mementos of an interesting experimental era for Icarus. So there it is, the story of PALT by Icarus. So what are your opinions of it? Now, when I look at it, it's definitely a very impressive machine. However, it looks like there's just too many things that could go wrong mechanically with it. It looks like it's something that can be prone to failure on many occasions. And that's not what you want at an airport. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this look at the Icarus 690 series PALT buses. And as always, thank you so much for watching and have a great day. Bye.